Right now, as you watch this video, you are using the most powerful infrastructure ever built by human beings, and you have no idea what it actually is. What if tomorrow morning it was gone? Not down, not slow, gone, forever. Not your Wi-Fi, not your phone signal, the entire global internet, every server, every data center, every connection simply ceased to exist. What would happen in the first 60 seconds, the first hour, the first week? And could civilization as we know it survive at all? Before we get into the chaos, let's understand the thing we're losing, because most people severely underestimate it. Today, around 5.35 billion people use the internet. That's roughly 2 out of every 3 humans alive on Earth. Think about that. 2/3 of humanity depends on a network that didn't even exist 35 years ago. The digital economy is now worth around $16 trillion globally. In the United States alone, the internet economy contributes nearly $5 trillion and supports around 28 million jobs. If the internet vanished overnight, those jobs wouldn't slow down. They would stop. Companies like Google, Amazon, and Meta, worth trillions of dollars, would become effectively worthless within hours. Not because their products are bad, because their products require the internet to exist at all. The internet isn't just a tool, it's the nervous system of modern civilization. And just like a nervous system, you don't notice it until it's gone. Then everything fails at once. The first 60 seconds. In the first minute, most people would think their Wi-Fi stopped working. They'd restart their router. But elsewhere, something much bigger would be happening. Air traffic control systems would begin losing access to critical flight information. More than 100,000 flights operate around the world every day. Financial markets would freeze. Stock exchanges process millions of transactions every second. Without internet connectivity, trading stops instantly. Investments, pension funds, and wire transfers become trapped in limbo. The global economy suddenly hits pause. The first hour. Within the first hour, ATMs stop working. Your debit card becomes little more than a piece of plastic. Businesses that rely on digital payments can no longer process transactions. Cash suddenly becomes king again. Hospitals move into emergency backup mode. Patient records become inaccessible. Prescription databases disappear. Medical staff lose access to critical information they rely on every day. Doctors are forced to make decisions with limited data. And in critical care situations, that can cost lives. Day 1. By the first day, grocery store shelves begin emptying. Not because food no longer exists, because the systems that move food around the world have stopped working. Modern logistics depend heavily on internet-connected software. Without those systems, deliveries stall. Routes can't be optimized. Warehouses lose coordination. Within a day or two, major cities start seeing shortages. Meanwhile, reliable information becomes scarce. News organizations struggle to communicate. Rumors spread faster than facts. Panic begins to take hold. Let's assume humanity survives the initial chaos. What happens next? Surprisingly, the countries that suffer most may not be the largest. They may be the most connected. The more a nation depends on digital infrastructure, the harder it falls. Some rural communities that still rely heavily on local agriculture and offline systems might adapt more quickly. Meanwhile, entire industries collapse. Silicon Valley becomes a shadow of itself. Google, Meta, Netflix, Spotify, Uber, Airbnb. Their business models vanish overnight. Millions of jobs disappear. But here's something even deeper. The internet isn't just an economic tool, it's how we think, how we remember, how we find each other. Before the internet, information traveled slowly. Scientific discoveries took months or years to spread. Families separated by oceans paid huge sums for brief phone calls. We would return to that world. Except this time, we'd know exactly what we lost. Medical research slows dramatically. The rapid collaboration that helped produce life-saving breakthroughs becomes far more difficult. education suffers as well. Hundreds of millions of students currently rely on online resources and digital learning tools. Access to knowledge becomes harder than it has been in decades. Here's where things become fascinating. The internet isn't magic, it's physical. It's made of submarine cables stretching across oceans, fiber optic networks buried beneath roads, massive data centers humming day and night, satellites orbiting Earth. If the internet disappeared, much of the hardware would still exist. So the real question becomes, how long would it take humanity to rebuild it? The answer is complicated. The internet took decades and trillions of dollars to create. Rebuilding it from scratch would be incredibly difficult, especially because the very tool we'd need to coordinate that effort would no longer exist. There's a dark irony in that. The thing required to rebuild the internet is the internet itself. And here's something even more surprising. Parts of the internet are already disappearing. Millions of web pages have vanished forever. Broken links are everywhere. Digital information is far more fragile than most people realize. Even today, pieces of our collective memory are quietly fading away. The real takeaway: here's what this thought experiment really reveals. We've built an entire civilization on top of a system that is largely invisible, a system we rarely think about, a system we completely take for granted. The internet powers our hospitals, our financial systems, our food supply chains, our communication networks, our scientific progress, and our relationships. If it disappeared forever, it wouldn't just be an inconvenience, it would likely be the greatest civilizational crisis in human history, because it wouldn't simply remove a technology. It would remove the infrastructure that allows us to respond to crises in the first place. But perhaps the biggest danger isn't that the internet suddenly disappears, it's that our dependence on it grows deeper every year. We're storing more knowledge online, relying on more digital systems, and forgetting more of the skills that once allowed us to function without them. The internet probably won't disappear tomorrow, but maybe the most important question isn't, what if it disappeared? Maybe the real question is, are we building a world that could survive if it did? If this video made you think differently about something you use every single day, make sure to subscribe and tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you'd miss most if the internet disappeared forever? I'd love to read your answers, and next time we'll explore another fascinating question.